Hello everyone, my name is Joash, and this is the Wind Waker HD 80% Simple Beginner Tutorial. This is one of two tutorials that I'll be presenting to you guys. This tutorial is going to go through the beginner route, and it's basically the route that does not use manual swim, but goes through a route that is generally friendly for beginners. But for this simple tutorial, I'm just going to go through the route and show off some things and show off how the route goes, but also showing some tricks that are a little bit easier for a beginner to be able to comprehend and do for their first run. This tutorial is mostly for people who have just started running Wind Waker HD and they're just like beginning to run the game. I'm making a secondary tutorial alongside this one as well that shows off this exact same route without manual swim and whatnot, but I'll be doing a bunch of advanced strats so that you can see how a top player would do this beginner route so that you can improve your times with this beginner route. That's mostly for people who have already started running the game a little bit, but they still want to use this route but want to also get more advanced strats. But for this tutorial, I'm going to be showing off some things that are a little bit simpler. Also, I will be providing a couple of additional tutorials that have been made by other people as well, such as an item sliding tutorial. I'm not going to explain too terribly much about item sliding in this tutorial, but mostly just the specific item sliding techniques that are specific to this route. So I would definitely recommend going and watching an item sliding tutorial, link down below, before doing a speedrun, and definitely like playing around and familiarizing yourself with item sliding. Because this video will assume that you are at least somewhat familiar with item sliding. Also, I apologize, the Wii U is sometimes a wonderful system that loves to disconnect from the gamepad every so often. That happens with a lot of people, unfortunately, but it does happen. Also apologize if you can hear the fan in the background. There's not much I can do about it. It's the air conditioning fan. I tried to get it off the mic, but lo and behold, it is very evasive. So, apologies for that. There's nothing too much going on here. Just some simple introductory stuff. I'll bring up some notes about things that I'll have y'all keep in mind as you go through certain parts of the run. Here, equip telescope. Now I would also be holding down at this point, so you can be ready to aim upward. You can aim upward either with gyro or with the C stick, whichever one you prefer. Alright, so we're coming up to Orca to learn our sword techniques. I'm going to show off a couple of things that make this a little bit faster. Oh, whoops. So for these first two phases of Orca, on the third hit, you can hold back on the control stick, and on the fourth hit, you can then proceed to hold forward, or towards Orca, rather, in order to have your sword swing somewhat faster. So you can either watch how I do it on the input display, or you don't have to do it either. Doesn't matter. And this one you just hold forward the whole time. Because it's what he tells you to do. Yay. Here you can either do quick spins or you can just hold down the B button. Here you just react to his commands. Here you do jump attacks. And there you have it. Save warp out of here. And then we're on to the forest. I attempted to do a quick spin there, but it doesn't matter which one you do. Whether it's just a regular sword slash or a quick spin. So here, at this point, we're going to start collecting rupees throughout the run. I'm going to hopefully show an optimal rupee route here, but it doesn't matter too terribly much because if you are behind on rupees, then you can get some at Windfall through the pots. So if you're here, do a spin attack, and you can side hop into this cutscene so that the Bokoblin will follow you, and if the Bokoblin follows you just like that, he won't hit you off the log. For this fight, the best way to fight these guys, or the fastest way, is to hit them once and then do a jump attack quick spin, where you jump attack and then do a spin attack immediately afterwards. Although sometimes you might need to do one extra hit on them, like so there. And also you want to try to get as many green rupees there as possible. The minimum I would say you want is like 21, but if you don't, it doesn't matter. You can, again, you can get extra rupees at Windfall. But like I said before, I am going to show off an optimal rupee route to show you the best way to get the rupees. Oh no. Alright, our sister just got captured. That's totally important for later. Totally. Gamepad. Also, one thing to note about text, like I said before, you normally mash A and B for it, but if you encounter text boxes that appear instantly on the screen, which we'll see in a little while, for those you want to hold down B and mash A, and it'll make the text appear on the screen and then scroll through a little bit faster. Careful about talking to her, because the range for her text boxes is quite large. Thank you, Granny. Alright, bye, Granny. So we're gonna roll over here and talk to Tetra. And then once we do that, congratulations, you're out of Outset. Almost said Windfall. But no, we're in that Outset right now. Also, very important point. Say bye to Granny. Right here. Your Granny will miss you. Because, unfortunately, we will not be seeing her again for the rest of the runs. So, say goodbye to Granny. It's very important. Here's a bit of instant text right here to show an example of what instant text is. So again, just hold down B and mash A. And I think it's coming back to regular text. Okay, yeah. So these ropes are a little bit finicky. So it's one of those things that you definitely have to get a feel with through practice. But generally, what you want to do is you want to let go of the rope on the tail end of the swing. So you want to hold on to it a little bit and then let go of it. Don't worry about overshooting it. You probably will not overshoot it. In fact, you're far more likely to undershoot it. So don't worry about overshooting it. Because sometimes the ropes are finicky and will not give you nearly as much distance as it should. That. This one's the worst. Okay, it didn't look like the worst, but sometimes it is. It sends you off in really weird directions. Uh-oh. Don't do that. Open the chest normally. Take a good little view of FF1 before we enter. So the goal of FF1 is to kill one of the bokoblins, so we can saddle across that doorway. That spotlight that was just zoomed in on with the camera with the seagulls. We're gonna be turning that spotlight off, and then we're gonna be climbing up and doing we're gonna be climbing up and then getting our sword and finishing FF1. Alrighty, so really important here, what you want to do, so this is actually really important for how this route is made rather. Do not go up these stairs to hit the Gossip Stone trigger. We're going to want to actually activate that later, so what we're going to do is go over to the left here and skip this trigger. What you want to do is just go up against this wall, go a little bit to the left of it, and then grab onto the ledge like that. That jump is a little bit tricky and will definitely take a little bit of practice. Grab one of these green rupees until you get to about 25 rupees. You can also grab those rupees if you were also short on rupees as well. And go up here. You want to backwalk into there and then hold up as you're falling in order to grab onto that ledge. So for this bokoblin, there is one thing you can do to kill him a little bit quickly, but of course the goal is to just take him out so that he doesn't shine the spotlight. But you can, if you can get a hold of him right here, then you can just do a quick spin right here and knock him off the ledge, and then he is good to go. And I just made a mistake. Whoops, that is okay. If that happens, just make sure that you don't hit the Gossip Stone trigger, but just come back up here as normal. Sometimes mistakes do happen. Again, do the same thing with the ledge right there. Now for this rope right here, you want to grab onto it and then let go of it pretty quickly, because it does swing a long ways, and you can bounce onto the wall. So I definitely recommend like letting go of it fairly quickly once you grab onto it. You can also saddle across this door or onto this wall into this door. You want to run as quickly as you possibly can through these guys. Supposedly you can also pick up the barrel and put it on and then take it immediately off, and they're supposed to not see you as easily. But you can also do this as well, or you can just use the normal barrel strats. If he sees you right here, you'll want to hug this right wall as you're going up so that you don't get caught by the moblin. Because he could still see you from a long ways away if you don't hug that right wall there. Well, if he sees you, the wall will instead be to your left. But alternatively, if you are having trouble getting through those areas like I just did there, you can use the barrel like normal. As someone in my chat says, do a barrel roll. Alright, so for the green bokoblins, you want to do 3 slashes instead of 1 like with the blue bokoblins. You want to do 3 slashes and then the jump attack quick spin in order to get a fast kill out. And here we have the bathroom break of this run. Yeah, you don't have to start mashing until this point during the cutscene, so you could just like go grab a water bottle, stretch your legs, or do whatever you need to do for the for that like minute there without inputs. Also, fun fact on that text box where he said Ganondorf, on the English version he says Ganon, but on the Spanish version he says Ganondorf. So there's your interesting fact for the day. Alright, so from here we're gonna go see Tingle because you have to go rescue Tingle and get the Tingle bottle in order to be able to buy the sail. And also, we're going to be collecting rupees along the way. You can also get rupees from those flowers right there. But this pot has a guaranteed 5 rupee drop. There's also 5 rupees under that bed too. Alright, so for this Tingle text that's coming up, it'll appear on your gamepad. And then you just want to mesh through the text, and when the second box comes up, you just hit B. And make sure at some point soon to switch your inventory screen to the regular inventory screen. Also, do not talk to this guy. That was a mistake. So you got the guaranteed 5 rupees there. That pot right there is random with what you get, but I forgot to get 5 rupees from under the ramp again. You can get the 5 rupees from under that ramp again, like I did before talking to Tingle. Alright, so for sail pumping, it's just basically pulling out the sail and then putting it away. Just as simple as that, because we're taking advantage of the acceleration, the very brief acceleration that we get when we pull out the sail, and we're maintaining that speed from there. Just gotta sail from here. We're about to get to a lot more interesting parts of the run. DRC is when the run really starts to pick up and we start seeing a lot more unique tricks. Like right off the start of entering Dragon Roost Island, we'll see a trick where we skip a small little portion of the island. That was a weird camera angle. I've actually never seen that before. Camera was like kind of tilted. Just follow the instructions as normal. Alright. So from here we're going to do a trick called rock skip, and what you want to do is, when we get up there, you'll face the wall and then face a little bit to the right. And then you'll hold target, so kind of like this, you hold target and then roll forward and then do a roll, all while holding target. You can also jump around this rock right here and even do a jump slash if you don't miss it. However, if you do not want to do that secondary hop that I just did with going around that rock and the blocks, you can use the bomb right there to blow up the rock. That is an alternative strat that you can use to get around that. Because that second jump is really tricky, so if you want to get around that, then you can use the bomb. It loses a few seconds, but obviously as a beginner, feel free to use that. And look, yay, more cutscenes. Almost done with the cutscene gauntlet. Alright, so from here we're going to roll up this this ramp. Make sure you, like I mentioned before, open up the inventory screen, and at some point open up the delivery bag to be able to equip the loader. That's mostly just a note for if you want to try to go fast and not have to worry about managing your menu somewhere halfway. But that will take getting used to and knowing when you want to do it efficiently. It doesn't matter what button you have it on, either I'm used to having it on X, that's why I moved it back over to the X button. But I mean, it doesn't matter what button you have it on. It doesn't matter what button you have, like, any of the items on. That's definitely all personal preference. Sometimes I choose what items go where based on, like, proximity on the item screen and bringing it over on the gamepad. Although with some later items, it's more just like which button feels right for each item. You can hug that right wall right there as you're going up the stairs while rolling, and then as you're rolling, you won't bonk onto those stairs. And another thing to note here, this wind cycle for throwing medley is a little bit different in various language versions. On Spanish, it's a little bit tight. On Italian, it's a little bit more lenient. On English, it's really, really hard to make the cycle, so you might have to wait on English. But otherwise, just throw medley when the wind is heading in the right direction. Throw her over there. Definitely take your time with throwing her if you feel uncomfortable with rushing it. Grab the bottle, get some water. You can roll up here to get on the ladder a little bit quicker and a little bit higher than just climbing up from the bottom. Doesn't matter which bomb you water, just make sure you water a bomb and then throw it over on the rock. Go up here and throw these bombs into their basketball hoops or canisters or whatever. And you can also roll on this right wall here, but it's a little bit harder to do than the other wall. That one takes a lot more getting used to than the wall inside the Rito village or whatever. Here, pull this, and you don't have to pull this one all the way. You can squeeze on in here. Do a jump attack on this guy. And you can throw the stick here, but of course you don't have to if you don't want to. That is definitely optional. Ignore me. Don't do that. that was muscle memory of like a completely different route. But yeah, just slash the wooden thing and then move on here to go on through. And you can roll like right as the bomb explodes into this rock to roll into where the boulder was in order to save a little bit of time. You can also do a cutscene skip here where you move the camera as you roll, but unfortunately I missed it there. Sometimes it's a little bit weird, and sometimes it's a little bit weird and it doesn't work. Okay, for here, I'm going to do a quick spin. Break these walls. And then head on out of here. Alright, so here you can either pick up this pot and throw it into the bomb, or you can do a spin attack on this wood right here. It doesn't matter which one. I was going to try to just hold a quick spin attack there. It's best to spin attack this Bokoblin. Messed it up a little bit there though. But the general idea is there. You can also jump across this, but if you don't feel comfortable with that, then just saddle across. Same thing with this. You can do a really precise jump right here, or you can do a side hop and then jump slash. But I would definitely recommend just going across the thing normally, like you would in a casual playthrough at first, because if you do miss that and fall off, you have to do the entire room again. And you can also roll off to the side here and like jump off in order to get onto these platforms a little bit easier. Also, don't pick up the pod, just slash it. Again, just muscle memory. Some of my muscle memory for this place is doing it without a sword, so ignore when I do that. Just slash that pod with a sword. Slash this guy and it'll automatically pick up the key. And be careful not to fall either. And again, here I can throw the stick into this torch, but of course you don't have to throw the stick and can just walk over there and light it up manually. Alright, so again, one slash and then a jump attack, quick spin. Although sometimes they might need one more hit, but of course you can just hit them one more time. That's fine from there. I did not mean to do that. Sometimes the reaction command can come up right there and can prevent you from jump attacking. Okay. But yes, you get the general idea there. Either do like the movement there, or just kill them normally. You can also jump attack on that table right there, and then jump onto the ladder. It's a little bit quicker when you have a sword. Just throw this pod right here. Roll down here, get this bomb. Roll into the rock with good timing. Although it doesn't matter if you miss that, like that's inconsequential if you miss it. It looks cool and saves like a very, very small amount of time. Alright, so for the green bokoblins again, you can just slash them 3 times and then do the jump slash quick spin. Just like so. For that fight, I would try to aim my control stick towards the moblin and while targeting him and doing straight stabs. But if he keeps blocking you, which he's pretty likely to do, you can also pick up one of the bokoblin swords, and it's a little bit easier to fight them with that sword. But either way, just kill the moblin and then you're good to go. And now we're back. Now we're on to item sliding. And again, like I said before, I would definitely recommend watching the item sliding tutorial. I'm gonna link down below, and then getting used to item sliding. For the sake of this tutorial, I'm just gonna show off how to do the item slides that pertain directly to this run. So we're gonna save warp here, and then we're gonna leave the temple and save warp again to end up back outside. And here is where the run will get a little bit more fast-paced. Alright, so here I'm going to show the best place to item slide off of this island without hitting Fire Mountain as easily. Let's go over here, do 3 red dot bounces, and then head on out. If you have too much speed, then go back and forth on the control stick in order to kill some of your speed. You can also use the map on your gamepad to know where you're going if you need help with that, with basic directions. Do a backwards item slide here, aim to that pole, and then you're good to go. We enter this pirate ship, and then we're going to exit outside. now we're back at FF1 because we didn't pick up the Gossip Stone and now our sword is gone. So if I'm here, do an item slide backwards, and then hold backwards to clip out. This rock's a little bit finicky with climbing up it, but you just want to go back and forth with it until you finally cling on. And I would recommend turning off gyro for these next few parts right here. And then you want to aim the right side of your screen with the neck of that snake right there, or dragon, I guess. Do a left item slide. Except do it right. Sometimes the note right there, sometimes if you have a bad ESS position, or where you're holding the control stick in a slightly different direction, sometimes you might not have enough speed, as shown off right there. But that's okay, you can just come back up here and try it again. Try not to charge up too much speed though, in order to not crash the game. I'd recommend maybe about 5 bounces with the red dot. Go over to this corner right here. This corner's a little bit tricky though. And there is a chance you can land directly into the cutscene, which is good, because now we have to watch this cutscene. And now this next item slide's a little bit tricky. But we're going to do this in order to get back to the pirate ship. Just item slide for a good little bit until you clip out, like so. And then we're going to end up under the pirate ship. And then we'll come over here. And then we're going to face to the left here, aim about right there, I think. Let's see if this works. And hopefully get the item slide. Hit target, and then we're good to go. And since we picked up the Gossip Stone text, now we can go in here and get bombs. This rope game is actually... this rope game's a little bit harder than the first one, but it's a lot less finicky than the first one, if that makes sense. This one can be a little bit easier to do consistently in runs sometimes. Okay, and then side hop onto this button, or just press onto it normally. And then we can go over here. This time you want to let go like really early into the swings for most of these, but these might also depend on like where you are on the rope. And then for some of these later ones, you want to let go at the tail end of the swing. Again, this is one of those things where you have to kind of get used to it and adjust to it as it goes. Alright, so now that we have bombs, now I'm gonna go get our sword back. And the way we're gonna do that is we're gonna save warp and then go back to Forsaken Fortress 1. So now that we also have bombs, it'll make super swimming a little bit easier too. So we'll go over here. We'll end up on Windfall, which is probably the easiest place to super swim off of. So we'll equip bombs right here. Do about 3 bounces and then head on into the water here, or maybe even less bounces than that. Kill some speed. Go onto this this submarine here. That's near this ferry island. That's northwest of the of Windfall. If these guys catch you, And also hold any direction on your control stick while Link is getting thrown in, and you'll be able to stand up a little bit faster. Let's crawl in here. And here, you can do an item slide here, but I'll leave that one in the advanced tutorial. That item slide's a little bit tricky. I'm gonna side hop here to avoid a cutscene, but if you end up hitting it, it's not that big of a deal. Okay, so we're gonna roll here, turn around. Aim at this flag right here. Item slide to the right. Hit target and roll. And then I'll leave this this trick right here on the, there's a trick you can do here, but I'll leave that for the advanced tutorial because it's a little bit tricky on how you input the movements. So for here, you just go across here. You can also saddle across here, or you can do an item slide forward and hit target, and then you can target this guy and grapple him to avoid. You can avoid the cutscene of the spikes coming up here. And then pick up the sword. I side hopped into it to pick it up a little bit faster. That's just a small time save though. So back to Windfall we go, and now we're going to go to Forest Haven. We'll do this. I'm gonna turn around, and again, you can look at your map on the gamepad. You'll be able to know where you're going. Go straight into here.
Hey.
Now for here, you want to do an item slide in front of here, and then after like a couple of bounces, hold forward into the wall. There is a bit of a risk of falling directly, or item sliding directly off the island, like way off the island. So this is one of those points where you definitely have to be a little bit careful. New item slide here just for a little bit of good movement. Jump up here. Item slide into this cutscene. And there's a cutscene skip you can do in this room, but I'll leave that for the advanced tutorial. Defeat these guys, and you're good to go. You can also make sure to not pick up the chew jelly. If you do, it's no big deal. It just brings up the text of you got the chew jelly. So that's just a small time loss if you end up picking up one of those. One thing to note too, you can also get sword after getting leaf, or after getting leaf and then getting quiver here in a bit. It'll require a little bit of different movement though, and the only real difference here, if you want to do that, then you can defeat the chews here with bombs, And then also use the leaf in FF1. For where that one part where I said you can skip the one jump, the one sidling part earlier, you can just use the leaf on that. So there are definitely, you definitely have some options when doing this route. This route is slightly flexible in the ordering of how you do certain things. There's just some small minor details just to keep in mind. Okay. Don't necessarily have to do an item slide there, but it is a little bit faster. Item sliding in general is best for movement, although do be careful in some areas as to not clip out, as to not clip through certain parts in order to like lose your run. Also, I'm going to turn on gyro here. You can turn on gyro like anytime you want. But I'm going to turn it back on for my sake. It's definitely like completely personal preference whether or not you have gyro on or off. But there are a couple of places in the run where having gyro off is essential. So for here, you want to go past this mailbox and run around 2 times to get Beetle in a certain spot and not miss the barrel. Okay, and then you're gonna get on the barrel, line yourself up about right here. Okay, I'm gonna pause buffer this to show this off efficiently. Okay, so you do this. 1. Okay, it's a little bit hard to see the red dot bounces, but you want to do about 2 or 3. 2, 3, and then you want to buffer in 1 neutral input, and then have Link slowly get in there. And once you hit the water, hold ESS down, then go up like that, and then swim over here to Quiver. Now, of course, the ordering of this is also based on preference. You can also do Quiver before doing Leaf as well. You want to look at it. You also want to look at a certain visual cue. Okay, for this trick, you want to look at a visual cue like on the ground, like where I'm pointing my red dot. Sometimes it doesn't always work. I would also recommend safety saving here, because if you fall off the island, then your run's pretty much over. Kind of like this right here. Like, things can be really risky. While I am a little bit sad that messed up, it does show you like what can happen if you're not too terribly careful. And when you do safety save in this island, make sure you're on the island, because if you're in the water, then you'll spawn on the boat, and that's not good because the wind direction will be a little bit. Well, the wind direction will also be bad, but you also will have to swim all the way back to Dragon Roost Cavern. Or Dragon Roost Island, because the boat will take you away from this quadrant since you're not supposed to be here this early. This trick definitely takes a lot of practice, and unfortunately sometimes it does happen that you miss it a lot. If it doesn't work immediately, cancel out of the item slide. Wow, I'm actually surprised it's not working. Yeah, this shows you that even top runners can mess this trick up a lot. This is unfortunately one of the hardest tricks that you can't really get around. Wow. I do apologize. You also gotta be careful with the water too. So you can also stand on here, backflip. Definitely use the outlines on the ground to line yourself up. Even though it's sometimes a little bit weird. So where I'm aiming is mostly ideal, although it doesn't look like it right now because I've missed it like a dozen times. Okay, there we go. You don't want to be as... Yeah, it's it's a pretty bad trick, so definitely be prepared for that trick. It's a little bit bad, but it's definitely very doable. So follow the inputs that I did for that last attempt. And we're heading on out here. And for this, I definitely recommend safety saving, because if this does mess up, then you probably won't be able to continue the run. You can do a side hop and jump attack to get out of here. And wait until the water level is down, then do an item slide right here, do about 3 bounces and pull out the bomb. You can also pause buff for this as well. And if you don't have enough speed, then you can go over here to Dragon Roost, and then back up the swim. 3, pull out the bomb, pull out the sword to drop the bomb, although that doesn't matter too terribly much. So now you can also use Windfall as a place to back up your swim. Okay, and then you want to go over to this corner here, pull out Wind Waker to stop your speed, turn around, do an item slide here, just a normal item slide. Then go over here. At about that, don't go too far to the left, because then you'll activate Phantom Ganon. And if you activate Phantom Ganon, all you have to do is just go in and out of a room in this place. Okay, you can go over here. Careful while item sliding up this ramp, too. You want to look over here, do an item slide backwards. Instead, do an item slide backwards. You want to hold up, hold target, and then hit sword. This item slide's a little bit risky, so I'll just show just normal movement here. Again, be careful item sliding in FF2, because you can clip through almost anything. Item slide to the left over here. Hold right, so you can jump up here a lot easier and make it a little bit more consistent. Do a backwards item slide here. Hit the home button, hold target, B, and forward, and then pull out your Deku Leaf, while aiming at around generally that spot right there. And you roll up here, item slide over here. Now pull your grapple hook and do a side hop, and as you do that side hop, then let go of target. And so this part you have to turn off gyro because it's extremely precise. So aim about right there, do an item slide forward. After 1 bounce, hold the control stick forward, and then go about where the red dot was for... Go about where the red dot was when I started doing this. And for this, I would just say follow the inputs on the input display. You'll see Link scooch to the left there. If he's scooching to the left, sometimes it'll fail just like that. You want to try to have Link running forward like that, but you also want it to be to the as left as possible with the camera angle. Otherwise, Link will just clip through the door onto the other side, and you have to run back up. It's not too big of a deal if you fail it. It's just a time loss. Just a simple time loss. And now we're back to some more cutscenes. Sorry about that. Alright, so from here, you want to do an item slide forward, and then hold forward, and then hit target, so that your speed is up to positive. And you can also do this by pulling out a bomb, too. Aim your camera like this, climb up, and then hold down. And then aim about right here, put away your grappling hook, go forward like so, and then roll, and then be very careful with this with this so you don't fall off. You can also go into first person to see the platform a little bit easier. Up here, pull out bomb. Don't bonk into that. Yay, Cutscene Gauntlet 2. This section is mostly like cutscene, like few seconds of action, cutscene, a few seconds of action. Hi, Ganon's dead. Congratulations, you finished the run. Thanks for watching. No, I'm kidding. He is still alive, so the run will still continue. Anyways. Alright, so now we're getting to the infamous barrier skip. Alright, so I'm going to show you a clip through Castle Clip, and it might be a little bit difficult. If you can't get this clip, then you can just walk through Hyrule like normally. Alright, so what we're going to do, we're going to go listen to this text. I forgot about this text. And then we're going to go over here. I'm going to aim about right here, do a diagonal item slide. And then once we clip through, we're going to pull out leaf. And if it's not working, then you might need to back up just a little bit. Pull out leaf. And sometimes you might go too far and hit the barrier. So that's why I almost recommend just going through Hyrule Castle. But if you do want to do that, then you can do that as well. Mesh Wind Waker, and then look up here for this angle. Hold forward. I would definitely recommend just following the input viewer for this one. And sometimes if you don't have enough speed, then you'll have to do the item slide again. Okay. Okay. Be careful going over this going over those stairs with an item slide, because sometimes you can fall down. I also do an item slide there. However, you can also leaf across the platforms, and it's a lot less risky. So definitely keep in mind the strats that I show off that you can do, and that you can do, but also can like skip, but still be able to finish the run in an efficient manner. Pick up some magic here if you need it. I'm going to show off this trick with pause buffering. I feel like pause buffering is a little bit easier for this trick. I'll show it off without pause buffering in the advanced tutorial. Once you grab the ledge, once Link's feet are straight, then you hold right, and you'll be able to clip through. And then once you clip through, then Link will immediately fall, and then that's when you have to pull out leaf. Over here. And if you're running low on bombs, be sure to safety save. And I think there's also some bombs outside in the flowers if you need them. But magic is definitely easily accessible from inside Ganon's tower with those skulls, as well as hearts. So follow the path here. This path is the same every time. So just follow along with this same path. Also, I'm going to turn off gyro here. I'm going to turn it back off again, because now we don't need it to be off. If you still prefer it to be off, then that's up to you. Also, pull out if you pull out a bomb right as you open the door as well, then that makes it a little bit faster. And we got the worst RNG here, but there's nothing we can do about that. If you do mind using gyro, if you do like using gyro, I would definitely recommend having gyro on for a Puppet Ganon, because it makes the fight a lot easier. Equip light arrows. Target him and then with the light arrow. If he spawns with the multiple versions of himself like surrounding you, it's the Phantom Ganon that's behind you. Throw his sword into that door and then proceed into Grand Staircase. Be sure you hit neutral anytime you stop these item slides if you want to continue to hold, and to continue to face forward. There's magic in each of the pots on the way up, so every time you have a stopping point, there is magic in those pots if you need them. Make sure you have full magic before you go into this fight, if you can help it, because you will definitely need it. fight. So here's the interesting thing about this fight is we do a lot of health and magic management. If you have more than 2 hearts, the keys that come down in the first and second phases and the morts in the third phases will have a chance to drop magic. However, if you're at 2 hearts or lower, they will always drop hearts. So if you need magic, you'll have to refill on your hearts from the hearts that they drop. I'm gonna attempt to show off the best way to lose it, because we're gonna have to lose health for the hover after this fight. So I'm gonna show off the best way to lose health. However, if you're not at the optimal health, you can just take yourself down with bombs. So if you feel uncomfortable damaging down during the fight still, you don't have to worry about it too much, and you can just use bombs. And there's a bomb refill above this fight once we climb all the way up after beating this boss. So you'll definitely be good on bombs after this fight. And there's also some really precise shots you can do here, but I'm gonna leave that for the advanced tutorial. And I'm also gonna show off some safe strats for this first phase. For this first shot that I'm gonna show off is not necessary, but you can get a free shot if you get used to where to aim. Unfortunately, I missed it. I was a little bit too far to the left. Now, what I would recommend doing is waiting until he's about to charge up a hit, and once his tail goes to the right, like so, then let go of the arrow. And this takes a little bit of getting used to the fight, because depending on how far away you are, might depend on when you need to release the arrow. But for the most part, it's when he moves a little bit to the right. Now, of course, sometimes this will happen. If this happens, then just wait for him to do his thing. And then shortly after, he'll do the safety thing again, the safe strat again, like so, like that. For this fight, definitely play it safe, because this fight is pretty difficult, like definitely one of the hardest parts of the run. So I would definitely recommend practicing this fight and getting used to its mechanics and knowing how everything works. But in the advanced tutorial, I'll show off the best ways to do this fight. I'm going to equip bombs here for phase 3. This is where you really need to watch out for your magic. You're going to start running out at this point. You can either hit them with your sword or you can hit them with the bow. Get the magic from here. Again, and then you'll get the keys again, just in case you need some more magic. Now I'm going to intentionally get damage down here. You want to get hit by the tail end of it, well, his tail, and not necessarily like that. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to get to that point. But if you don't feel comfortable with damaging down during the fight, then definitely you don't have to do it quite yet. This part, though, you can use bombs, and if a bomb hits his face, then he'll stop for a good little bit, so you have a chance to be able to hit him there. You don't always have to run into him. You can also throw the bomb into his face if you want, like so. So I'm at 3/4 of a heart, which is not the best. Ideally, you want to be at a 1/4 heart at the end of this fight, but I would not worry about that if you're like just starting out with the run. At whatever health you are at, you can just use bombs to damage back down. In fact, I would just recommend doing that. If you end up not damaging down during the fight, it is a little bit slower, but you do get the chance to get magic if you end up missing a bunch of shots. So use bombs here. Okay, so one little note about the hover is people do it in a few different ways, as far as like the hover is concerned. So I would recommend checking out a mashing tutorial for this trick. I might make a separate tutorial for this hover and the different methods used for this because this hover takes a lot more than just doing this one to be able to explain how it works. So I'm probably gonna make a mashing tutorial just for this trick as well. And I think also Kiba has a video where he's showing off mashing and what to do for it. But for now, I'm just going to show you like the setup and mention a few things about the Morse. So from here, break this open so you can, so you don't need to climb all the way back up here again. Go up to the Morph like so, and you can also activate the camera again if you do have gyro on. Unfortunately, sometimes it doesn't work quite well, but about right there. Sometimes. About right there. Sometimes it doesn't work for some reason. Sometimes the visual cue is like really wonky and then it just doesn't work. But around right there is what you want. You might need to adjust as normal. About right here. You have to make sure that the Morph gets hit and grabs onto you at the same time. So like that, and make sure not to get hit by the fairy. Also, you can get some extra bombs right there, just as a heads up. And unfortunately, the Morph gave me bad RNG right there. It's random which way the Morph goes. So again, if it fails, then come back down here and enter this pot. And also, if you are struggling with hitting it, you can do a home buffer where you hold up and B after hitting the home, after getting out of the home menu, in order to make it a little bit easier. Even though, like the one demonstration I did of it, I failed it, but you can do that, and it does make it a little bit easier. Sometimes. Again, this is also one of those tricks where it's based on circumstance, how you need to approach it. So definitely practice this a lot. But you want to make sure he gets on that platform. Don't worry if he goes under the platform, you can get him back onto the platform from under here, like so. I'm going to go over here. Now the Morph is on top. When he's way back there, you want to move around here to get him to move until he's about on that banister, and then you want to move over here so you can adjust as needed. You can move left and right while holding target in order to make him not move. Okay, right about there is a good spot for him though. So now I'm going to go over here. I'm going to equip bombs. I'm going to aim about right here. Make sure you're in about that position there. And watch these inputs. Okay, and that is how you do Morph hover. And again, like I said before, there'll probably be another tutorial, either by myself or Kiba, on how to do the mashing. Because I kind of just did it quickly there without like really explaining it a lot. But as far as like the setup for it goes, and like shooting the bow and putting down the bomb, follow those exact inputs, and then you'll be good to go with how you how you line up with the hover and such. 'Cause there's many different ways that you do the hover, or that you can do the hover. Alrighty, so we're about reaching the end here, so I'm gonna also be doing safety strats for Ganondorf because you can get because we are at a heart right here, but we can get extra hearts from Zelda, and I'll show how we do that. But while I'm waiting for the fight to happen, actually hold on just a second. While I'm waiting for the fight to occur, I'll give a few shoutouts to some of the other runners for Wind Waker HD. Kiba, we got Ian, Miles, we got Kiba, we got Legend Zelda LF, we got Mr. Alberto as one of our glitch hunters. We got Azer, we got Legend of Link, just to name like a few people that have definitely made this possible. Smokey. I might be forgetting a few names here, but those are a lot of names that have helped this community to grow. Iceberg Lettuce, like so many people in this community, like helping to make the run what it is today, and to help come up with strats to help beginners to be able to ease into the game as easily as possible. Okay, I'm also going to give a shout out to my friend who also comes into my stream occasionally and asks why Zelda's wearing pajamas. Give a shout out to him and his very minor, his very small contribution to this game with his very profound questions. Alrighty. And by Zelda, I'm talking about Link in his pajamas when doing like manual Super Swim runs. Okay, so stand here, pull out sword. After Zelda talks to you, move over here, target her as soon as you can, use grapple on her, and then talk to her. So now you have hearts, so it's a lot less likely for you to die. Do a lot of jump / quick spins on Ganon here, and bring him down really quickly. Right here, you want to do the reaction. Back up as quickly as possible. Okay. You can hit him once more right there with a jump slash, and then get away from him as quickly as possible. Talk to Zelda here. Target Ganon, back up from a safe distance, just like so. And that's it! You have completed the game. And that is the simple beginner tutorial for the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker HD. The time can be a little bit faster than this. Obviously, like I made some mistakes in this tutorial. Like the quiver part was a little bit slow. But otherwise, yes. Thank you guys for watching, and hopefully this helps you to get into Wind Waker HD. Thank you for watching.